So now we are going on to the further what comes after your ASTC. So there will be a technique that you need to learn. You need to learn to draw triangle. So if you see question like without using calculator, that means, right, you are not supposed to solve for the angle. That means, right, don't go and do this. Don't go and do this and you get the angle. So if you do that, you get outright 0 marks. So that is the meaning of without using calculator. So we'll be drawing triangle. So we'll be drawing triangle in the respective quadrant with the basic angle. So remember the basic angle, they form, it is kind of like this. The basic angle are like this, right? So we're going to draw the triangle based on which quadrant they are in. So I will show you. So in this question, this is cosine negative. So cosine is negative. So cosine is negative in the second and third. Sine is positive, first and second. So eventually, my conclusion will be theta is in the second quadrant. So this is the triangle, because this is in the second quadrant. So your triangle will look like this. This is your alpha. This is not your theta. This is your theta. Because your theta is in the second quadrant. So your theta is an obtuse angle. So this is a 4. 4 is the adjacent side. This is the hypotenuse. You do your mental Pythagoras. Okay, you will get a 3 here. So I will not use -4. So some teachers, I think, may use -4. So to me, all the lengths are positive. So to me, all the lengths are positive. So after I draw out, right, I can answer my sine theta. This is obtuse. Sine theta should be positive. That means the O over H should be positive. So the O over H will be 3/5. So if I go to tangent, because this one is second quadrant. Second quadrant, sine is positive. So my tangent should be negative. Negative O over A. So I find the value without finding theta. Where I got my value? I got it from my triangle. So deciding the quadrant will be important. If you decide wrongly, you will put the negative sign wrongly because your ASTC is wrong. Different quadrant will have different sign. Okay, so we can extend it to something like this. They may not always, so in this question, right, okay, they say A and B are in the same quadrant. A and B are in the same quadrant. Sometimes they may not be in the same quadrant. Okay, so you got to decide which quadrant are they talking about first. So this is sine negative. So third and fourth. Tangent positive. First and third. So which quadrant are they talking about? Third quadrant. So A is in the third quadrant. B is also in the third quadrant. So if I'm going to draw my triangle, my triangle should look like this part. So I should draw a triangle. This is my alpha. This whole thing is A. And this is the O. And this is the H. Do your Pythagoras. You can either show a little bit of working or do it mentally. So this part is a 5. So do the same thing for B. They are in the same quadrant, but they are different angle. So draw it separately for them. So it should still look like this. You draw with the alpha. This whole thing is B. And this is 3/1. O and A. 3, 1. Pythagoras theorem. So from here, I can answer my question. From here, I can answer my question. So if you look at part A, they ask for tangent minus A. How does minus A look like when A is in the third quadrant? So can you see this is how big? This is A. So if I make A go in the opposite direction, it will have hit second quadrant. Can you see? It will hit the second quadrant. If I make A go in the opposite direction. So second quadrant tangent is negative. So I will get negative O over A. So negative 12/5. So A is in the third quadrant, but if I do a minus A, that means I swing the amount in the opposite direction. I hit a second quadrant. Tangent in second quadrant is negative. So you get your OAH from the base, from the alpha here. The alpha here will tell you the OAH. So then what about this part, part B? Sine pi over 2 minus B. So that is a complementary angles that I gave you just now. So this is the formula. So under that formula, that becomes a cosine B. And how do I get my cosine B? This is third quadrant. My cosine should be negative. Third quadrant, B is third quadrant, so the cosine will be negative because it's a T. So it's A over H. So that's how I draw triangle and how I formulate my ASTC and my OAH. So there are more examples. Actually, there's a lot of questions that you're going to be practicing this. So you realize you will need your ASTC to be quite well. Then you will draw according to the ribbon, this part.